So let's begin with this morning with the unprecedented FBI search of former President Trump's home at his Mar-a-Lago resort. Agents spent much of the day yesterday executing a search warrant, and now senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge has a lot more on what they are looking for. Catherine, good morning. Good to see you.
Well, good morning, Vlad and Anne-Marie. Former President Trump said his home was raided, and he said FBI agents even broke into his safe. Neither the FBI nor the Justice Department here in Washington is commenting on the search warrant, though a source close to the former president said he was not in Florida when federal agents arrived.
As he left New York's Trump Tower, the former president had no comment about the FBI search warrant. But at a Monday tele-rally with U.S. House candidate Sarah Palin, he had this preview.
Another day in paradise. This was a strange day. You probably all read about it.
According to a Trump advisor, FBI agents arrived at Mar-a-Lago Monday at around 10 a.m. On social media, Trump said, "The raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate," claiming he was working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies.
This is unexplored territory.
Former prosecutor Harry Litman told CBS News securing a search warrant in a case like this would require a high standard of evidence.
Have we ever been here before with a former president?
This kind of high stakes, high level service of a search warrant by the FBI, I think that's unprecedented.
Multiple sources told CBS News the search warrant for Mar-a-Lago was connected to missing White House records. Earlier this year, the National Archives asked the Justice Department to investigate Trump's handling of official documents. Under the Presidential Records Act, documents sent and received as president must be preserved. But in January, the National Archives said some records returned by Trump were ripped up or taped together. In addition, sources say classified material was among 15 boxes retrieved from his Florida estate. On Monday, a New York Times reporter posted these photos promoting an upcoming book, claiming they showed Trump trying to flush documents while he was president.
Why does the FBI execute a search warrant versus request the records?
They were worried that he, A, wouldn't give it up, and B, might destroy the evidence.
In his statement, Trump called the search warrant an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024.
They are threatened by Donald J. Trump. And honestly, I hope, and I'm saying this for the first time, I hope he goes out and beats these guys.
What does this tell you about the posture of the Justice Department in terms of their investigations of former President Trump?
This is a big-time move that, in part, is going to be stepping on a hornet's nest. It's not the same as saying they'll charge him, but, man, they are treating him like any other criminal suspect, and that's high drama.
Executing a search warrant like this on the private home of a former president would require several high-level approvals in the courts at the FBI and the Justice Department. We don't know what was seized by the FBI, though late yesterday a White House official told CBS News that the White House did not have advance notice that the raid would take place. Vlad, Anne-Marie.
So, Catherine, for our viewers to understand, this is unusual and it's significant, but to execute a search warrant like this, how many people and at what levels of the Department of Justice have to sign off on this?
Former prosecutors and former FBI agents we spoke to here at CBS News said they had never seen a situation like this, but it told them that the FBI and the Justice Department would have to have a high level of confidence that what they were looking for was at the former president's Florida residence. And they said to us it would require sign-off not only by the courts, but very senior people would have visibility, at the very least, within the FBI as well as the Justice Department here in Washington.
And you know, Catherine, Vlad, it's also policy. It's not just how rare this is. Policy within an election year is to not disclose politically sensitive investigations unless you get approval from very, very high level. So then, Catherine, what comes next in this investigation?
Well, based on my experience covering the FBI and Justice Department for 2 decades, typically what they do in a very high-profile case, and even just standard cases, is they say, you should look at the court record. The documents, the filings speak for themselves. It's not unusual in a high-profile case for a search warrant and the underlying evidence for that warrant to be under seal. But this is not your typical case, and there's really a greater push, given that it's a former president, to have more transparency about what was the catalyst for this raid.
And so the question, of course, now becomes, Catherine, as former President Trump thinks about a possible run for the presidency. We know that the Justice Department is also investigating the effort to overturn the 2020 election. So, I mean, we don't know, because we have absolutely no idea. The only people who know what was seized in this raid are the Justice Department officials and the former president himself. And so far, they're not sharing that with us. So there's no way for us to know whether or not there's any connection to the investigation into overturning the 2020 election.
You're right, Vlad. It really all comes down to the nature of the records they were seeking. Was it January 6th? Was it part of the alternate or fake elector scheme? Or was it simply classified information that had been retained by former President Trump that he should have left at the White House in January of 2021? At the end of the day, it's about the underlying evidence and the affidavit for this search warrant. And we just don't know what that was about. But we know that it was considered or deemed significant enough that the Bureau and the Justice Department would cross this threshold that really has never been crossed before with a former president.
So to what I brought up about the Justice Department's longstanding, decades-long policy about not going public with politically sensitive investigations, we know that there's a midterm election right around the corner. And we also know that former President Trump has hinted quite strongly that he wants to run again. Does this impact the timing of a possible announcement for a presidential run for Trump?
Anne-Marie, it's an excellent question. About 2 weeks ago, we interviewed Kellyanne Conway here on the stream, and she told us that she had urged former President Trump not to announce that he was seeking the nomination in 2024 until after the midterm elections. And then just last Friday, we asked former Attorney General Bill Barr about these politically sensitive cases and whether it could prevent the Justice Department from bringing charges against former President Trump or any of his associates prior to November. And he said at that time that because candidate Trump is not on the ballot in the midterms, neither are his associates. He didn't actually see any blocks from the Justice Department moving forward if they felt the evidence supported charges.
Interesting. Catherine, thank you very much.
You're welcome.